today we're going to make pumpkin empanadas, and just like every time before, you need to do all the pre-prep steps. Wash the counters off, hair up, apron on, fill up your sinks, and then you're ready to go. All right, the very first thing you're going to need to do is get out all your ingredients. You're going to need salt, sugar, flour, baking powder, cinnamon, ginger, cloves, 2 cans of pumpkins, and a Crisco, 2 eggs, and some warm water. Okay, as you see in the recipe, I've altered some of the ingredients from past experience when we did 4 cans of pumpkin filling. We had way too much filling. So I've cut all the pumpkin filling in half. But I've left the crust the same measurements. All right, you're also going to need a couple of bowls, your dry measuring cup, measuring spoons, fork and knife, pastry blender, a glass for our egg, and rolling pin, and a basting brush. Might be a few other things we've forgotten, but we'll get it out. Probably a liquid. Might be a few other things we've forgotten, but we'll get it out. Probably a liquid measuring cup too. All right, so we're ready to begin. We're going to start with our first step, which is going to be to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Okay. This does take the full hour, so you need to work quickly. All right, the second thing is to make the crust. So we're going to combine the flour, the sugar, and the salt together first. So that's step 2. Combine flour, sugar, and salt. You're going to be using 3 cups of flour. Fluff that up. And pretty much the crust of the empanadas is kind of like making a crust of a pie. I like doing the empanadas in class because they are quicker than making a pie. But we still have the Thanksgiving feel. All right, how much sugar do we need? Okay, 1/3 of a cup of sugar. And then salt. We need 1½ teaspoons of salt. Okay, that's 1. And 1/2. So we're going to combine that all. Let me just get a, thank you. One more dry ingredient that needs to be added, and this recipe in the direction part didn't include it, but we're going to add it into the dough mixture because it is on the ingredient list, and that's the baking powder. We want to add 1/4 of baking powder. So you need to add those 4 dry ingredients together. Baking, 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to go to step 3, which is cut in the shortening. So this is your Crisco all vegetable shortening, and it's real messy to work with. I like to get the shortening sticks, but this is a lot cheaper and we were using a lot of it. So I went ahead and got the can. And what you do to measure out this is to pack it in there. Yeah, it's not good for you. It's the holidays, we could cheat a little bit. All right, so you're going to pack that in there and level it off. We're going to share that can with everybody. Let me get a spoon out. Spoon that. And to clean making this cup, you really have to use hot water. And if you've never made icing for a cake, this is what they use. It's what you're eating. The icing. All right, so you're going to cut this in, and what you're going to use, you could use several things. You could use a pastry blender, and you also could use your hands if they're clean. I like to use my hands because it's just much easier than this pastry blender. Let me get that off. And you want to blend this till it resembles a crumbling mixture. Now we have our flour mixture that looks like little crumbles, and we have a cup of water, warm water, and it says to add 2 tablespoons at a time. So this would be step 4, is to add the water, and you're just going to stir it. You don't want to do too much, that's why you want to do 2 tablespoons at a time. And this is going to form a ball of dough. And you're going to knead it a little bit, and then we're going to divide this into 12 sections to create 12 little mini empanadas. Okay, so now we've gotten our dough where it's good. You can tell it's about to ball up. So I'm going to flour my hands. And see how I put the flour in a measuring cup? You could do that, put it in a bowl or a measuring cup. Don't stick your hand in the flour container. That's just not very sanitary, even if your hands are clean. I could dip it in here, my hands are dirty, I could dip it in there and get what I need out. So you're just going to knead the dough, get it all worked in. The flour helps keep the dough from not sticking to your hands, so it's kind of important. All right, so now we're ready to divide this up into the 12 dough balls. So I'm just going to put a little bit of flour here on my clean counter. I'm going to cut this into 4s. This is where you need to know your fractions. All that math that you never needed to know. And then you're going to cut these into 3rds, which comes up with a magical number of 12. Right. Then you're going to roll them into little dough balls. When you have 2 people doing this, it goes a lot faster. You're just going to set them in the bowl and then cover them and let them rest, and then we're going to make our pumpkin. Okay, while our balls of dough are resting, we're going to make the pumpkin mixture. Remember, I cut the filling in half. So we're going to start with 2 cans of pumpkin. So I missed a couple of steps there. There was knead the dough, cut the dough into 12 sections, and then this step would be to make your pie filling, or the empanada filling. See, I have two cans of plenty. You might not even use all of this. All right, so we've got our 2 cans of pumpkin. We're going to need a cup of sugar. Cup of sugar, a half a teaspoon of salt, 3/4 of a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. So I'm going to use 3 1/4. Smells good. Half a teaspoon of ginger. So we got ginger right here. And 1/4 a teaspoon of cloves. smell like Thanksgiving. Okay, we're going to stir that up. I think I forgot the egg. Did I forget the egg? We are going to include an egg in here. Yep. It's going to help make it firm up. All right, so now you got that all mixed in. That is going to be our filling. So now you got to, the last step is to actually make the empanadas. So we're going to set them to the side. We're going to move some of this stuff over. I'm just going to show you one empanada, and then you just repeat. So you're going to flour your counter, flour your hands. You're going to get a dough ball out. You're going to flour your rolling pin, sorry. Not too much, not too little, just right. And you're going to the best of your abilities, make that as round as possible. That's not super round, but I did not go to baking school. All right, now you're going to put a little pumpkin filling on, I just made a mess. Half of your crust, and you're going to fold this over. Probably put a little bit more in there. And you're going to seal the edges. Sometimes it helps to, I'm going to use this water. If you're having trouble getting the edges to stick, put a little water in there. Okay, that kind of acts as a little bit of glue. All right, that looks beautiful. Then you're going to take your pan with some parchment paper on it. You're going to pick that baby up as neatly as you can. Throw him on here. You're probably going to need 2 pans. This makes 12 empanadas. Then you're going to brush the top of that empanada with a little bit of egg whites. Use your basting brush. That's going to give it that shiny look. There you go. So you got to get those in. Those bake for about 20 minutes. All right. Good luck.